Lovely morning to you out there this lovely day, the 6th day of May 2025. Welcome to Good Morning, Anambra. My name is Ajuluchuku Okabwe.
And my name is Ijoma Uche. It's good to have you with us this morning. How are you? Okay, let's roll. AJ.
Yeah, well, like it's tradition here, we'll come back and then give you the nitty-gritty of what we have for you this lovely Tuesday morning. Don't go anywhere. The show is about to begin. To press review on Good Morning Anambra this lovely day. Well, we'll be starting the program by giving you rundown of what news that made the headlines on ABS website this morning before we do justice to the national tabloids. And the first story we have for you is Soludo commends Nigerian judiciary for living up to constitutional responsibilities.
And then Anambra State Assembly Speaker Udeze restressed the importance of policy legislation in accelerating developments.
Flooding. Anambra State government tax residents on regular cleaning of drainages.
Anambra Information Commissioner made 4 others optimistic about the bright prospects for APGA.
And then Onitsha South Council area holds Thanksgiving rally for APGA National Chairman Ezioke Nwa.
So many Thanksgiving. We had so one the other day. Okay, NIPOST embarks on reforms to serve emerging digital economy.
Also on the ABS website this morning, National Assembly asks Supreme Court to dismiss suit challenging state of emergency in Rivers State.
Why? Okay. Finally from here, Rwanda in talks with the U.S. over deportation of migrants and 4 Kenyan police officers charged with murder of 6-month-old baby. Can you imagine?
Sometimes the kind of stories you see, you begin to wonder, oh, well, like they will always make us understand, nothing is new under planet Earth, under the sun that governs us here. But then, let's see this story that is very, very interesting. NIPOST embarks on reforms to serve emerging digital economy. You know, sometimes we used to wonder, I think the best part of me remembering NIPOST and its function was probably in the 90s. I remember then they were the ones that would post your...
When you started writing love letters.
You should know better. You understand? Writing letters, and then there were some subscriptions, some magazine, football journals I used to, subscribe to. Each time it's the end of the month, there's this excitement that hits me. I'll go to our mailbox and then, open it and then see those stuffs. The efficiency of Nitel was, sincerely speaking, because I had nothing to compare them with. They were second to none, sincerely speaking.
And later it changed to telephone. Yeah. You go to make telephone calls.
With your,
is it Nitel? Yes,
is it Nitel? With your card and the rest of it all. So now, talking about this, seeing these reforms to serve emerging digital economy, I really want to know, because people no longer write letters, physical letters. We don't even use the same NIPOST in sending even our bills and the rest of it on.
There are a whole lot that they need to do. I think they allow themselves to be left behind.
To be left behind.
That's why we are not proactive here. When you see this reach of the new media, okay, you would have cutting on that and do a whole lot of things to regenerate and move with the speed. Okay, well, you just lay down there waiting for national budget, waiting concern me. The budget will always come. We push it down, wait for next year's budget. Whether if anything is going on, it does not, or is not going on, it doesn't concern us as long as the money is coming out.
And we're being paid salary too.
And that's just it.
Yeah, and we're being paid salary. So, well, this is a welcome development. Let's see how that digital economy reformation will definitely pan out. Any other story of interest?
Yes, we want to see why the National Assembly asked Supreme Court to dismiss suit challenging state of emergency in Rivers State. Why will you be crying more than the bereaved? You have declared state of emergency, and the person that you declared it said that no, it's not supposed to be. Let me go to court, and you are asking the court to dismiss. Okay, you have the rights because you are challenging that dispute. But the fact remains that you should allow court to take, its course. Okay, if at the end of the day we'll find out that, of course, the judiciary. Now let's go.
Okay, quickly, since there's nothing much to talk about, let's go to the dailies that we have for you, starting with the Daily Times on press review this morning. The banner headline on Daily Times is telling us PTAD blames CBN for delay payment of retirees' pension. That's interesting. And then we also have Zulum. Zulum shuts down all IDP camps over illicit activities, resettles 6,000 families. That's highly commendable. JAM reveals 2025 UTME shocking details. We just talked about digital reformation there, and then JAM is coming up with theirs. Our Nigerian government plans digital exams by 2027. Upgrade 38 technical colleges, Alausa. Okay. UK announces new premium visa application centers in Nigeria. Nigeria's security and political economy report that you find, that's part 2 of it, that you find on page 17 of the Daily Times.
Okay, we go over to Vanguard newspaper this morning. Banner headline there says, anti-Tinubu coalition, North alone can't decide 2027 presidency. And this is coming from Tanko Yakasai. Call that name. Did I get it?
Yakasai, yeah.
Your brothers. Okay, North with some riders. North has the numbers to decide who wins. Oh, I want to take that again. North has the numbers to decide who wins. And this is coming from ACF. We are not after power, but fixing Nigeria. League of Northern Democrats. Coalition remains on course, Articles 8. Okay, other stories coming from here. Federal government bans procurement of foreign goods produced locally. And then Rivers, setback for PDP governors as Delta pulls out of suits before Supreme Court. What do you expect? VDM to be released today, faces multiple charges in court Thursday. Okay. Babylon leads the way in education reforms, and then booming abduction industry in Edo Delta. Kidnappers force town to contribute 10 million naira ransom. And then, what is it? Jollof rice. You'll be cooking coolers of jollof rice and sending to kidnappers after paying 10 million naira. What the hell is going on here? That things are not supposed to see the pages of these newspapers, honestly speaking.
Not even any kind of rice, they specified.
So, jollof rice.
Jollof rice.
What impunity. Dangote thanks Tinubu for revolutionary change in oil and gas sector. And then Spurs 2025 on the 20 AFCON. Chile hits Egypt to support Flying Eagles. Any other story of interest? No?
None there. Let's go through and see what we have on the Guardian newspaper this morning. And then from the mast of the Guardian newspaper, we are seeing 77% of UTME candidates score below 200. That is worrisome. FEC prioritizes local industry under Nigerian First policy. CSOs demand Akpabio's resignation as court affirms conviction of returning officer. And the banner headline is saying, Nigeria risks losing youth generation to drug abuse, mental health crisis. Wow. Electoral Act. Crucial bills up for debate as Senate House of Reps resume today. And then we have Dangote hails Tinubu for appointment in energy sector. Atiku warns against state-sponsored repression as EFCC offers reasons for activist VDM's arrest. Plateau killings, police arrest more suspects, recover illegal arms in fresh raids. Imperative of improved aviation operations. Imperative of improved aviation operations before Fly Nigeria Act. Terrorism. Parliamentary group advises U.S. against designating Nigeria. That's all we have for you on the front page of the Guardian newspaper.
And next on our lineup this morning is the Daily Trust. From the front page of the Daily Trust, we have the story, Crisis in Northwest Development Commission over scholarship scheme. Okay, but other story says, police launch probe as 5 children die inside abandoned vehicle. Can you imagine? I saw the story yesterday. I was trying, I clicked the link to read it, but the link couldn't open. I don't understand what's going on. The other day it was inside the freezer. Now it's inside abandoned vehicle. What is happening to our children? 2025 UTME, over 75% score below 200. Then we should kind of pull it down and let universities set their exams. Constitution review, insecurity, taxpayers top agenda as NAS resumed today. This insecurity that you started discussing from ages. I don't know, you have not really come out with anything to back it up. As we are still talking, 25 killed as bandits, vigilantes clash in Bauchi, and nobody is saying or doing anything. New NNPCL leadership supporting my $20 billion refinery. This is coming from Dangote. By the way, I heard that some of those guys were picked by EFCC. Well, do I even trust anybody? Gaza staff as Israel plans expanded operations. Wow, what's going on there? Woman in court for marrying 2 husbands. And no, a man can marry 2 wives.
Without being in court. All right, next for review this morning is the Nigerian Tribune. FEC OK's Nigeria first economic policy to prioritize local industry. Banned unjustified imports. Executive order coming to back up initiative. And then we have at the mast of the Nigerian Tribune, 2027, Atiku still weighing options, may not quit PDP. Plans last-minute rescue effort to save party. That's coming from source. 2025 UTME result analysis. Over 1.5 million score less than 200 points. And that is less than 1% score above 320. 1%. Wow. Dangote hails Tinubu for revolutionary change in oil gas sector to save Nigeria. And then we also have here Tony Elumelu bags Gabon's highest national order. Interesting. Naira depreciate as crude oil price falls below $60. And then we have Benue Assembly will study debate reps. I can't see that.
It's okay, it's cut off.
Yeah. Bandits sack 3 Bauchi villages, kill 15, injure many. And we also have Wike Fubara feud, tax reform bills, constitution review, insecurity top agenda as NAS reconvenes. And then last but not the least, farmers in Ondo, Ekiti, Osun lament death of skilled labor. Death, as in, shortage of skilled labor and cost of inputs. That's what we're talking about. So it's kind of conflicting stories here. But top of what we've seen this morning so far is these two things, and these 2 things really bear on the future of this country. The banner headline in Nigeria, the Guardian, talking about Nigeria risk losing youth generation to drug abuse and mental health.
That one is a small loss now, about 1 or 2%. But what are the number of youths we are losing in insecurity? Nobody is talking about that. Every time you hear that a village is sacked and all their youth, children, women killed, and nobody is talking about that. Are we not losing human beings up there? And then when you wanted to say Naira and you said Nigeria, Naira depreciating and then, affecting the economy, I wanted to say, is it not the same thing? If the Naira is depreciating,
I had to correct
Nigeria
myself.
is also depreciating.
Based on what was written there, before I'll be misquoted. Jam, what's happening?
I don't know.
1% scored above 320. One. Ufu. That is really, really shocking. So now, does it mean that in trying to digitalize our educational and reform it through the era, through the digital age, because the children that we are giving birth to these days are already digitally inclined. So JAM thought it wise to make everything digital so as to be easy for them, unlike our Stone Age era where we needed to write shade. In fact, you might even shade wrongly, and then you get 0.
You circle. No, shed or circle. You didn't get that. You shed or you circle.
You understand? You might even shade correctly, and then you still miss out getting your point on that question. So now JAM now say, okay, fine, let's do it. There's been so many reforms. In fact, I even heard recently that 50 questions could be set. My number number 1 could be your number 20.
That's where I wanted to go. I think that's what affected it, because they don't read again. I'm sorry to say this. This generation, I don't understand where they're going to. Okay, they don't read again. They're all hoping on...
Expo.
Okay, we called it Expo. I don't know what they're calling it now. Okay, it's a whole lot of things. And now that the JAM, I'm sure they're going to remove that thing that they did. It was very helpful. They could the students didn't see it coming. Okay, so that was why.
But I don't see anything wrong in that reform. That is probably to curb exam malpractice.
You don't see anything bad in the reform, and you are questioning why the failure.
No, the failure is because the children have failed to read. Nobody wants to read.
They don't used to read hitherto. That's what you have just seen. That they don't read. Okay. That this is what they are hoping on. But what I'm trying to say is, I don't think it's because of the digital something. It's just because of that arrangement. Otherwise, everybody is digitized now. My little boy of 9 years can tell me more what is in this phone. But me that is using it. You understand? So that's not their problem. The problem is that they don't read, and they have a lot of distractions now. Give it to them. This is a very pathetic one for the children. A lot of distractions because of this digital age. They will either be watching this or watching that. No! And yet I will have to point out why we have these failures, and then we know where to start, curbing it. But this is true. Okay, a lot of distractions, that's it. And even hunger, there's no food in the land. Every time the father will be nagging the mother will be nagging the children. Who kept this food? Who dropped this one piece of yam here? Do you know how much yam is cost in the market? And a lot of distractions, I'm telling you, economically, educationally, security-wise, everything is affecting everybody in this system now.
Well, everything affecting everybody. Sometimes as kids growing up, we were wondering if everything was as rosy, as bad as it is right now. But
but it was never this bad.
No. The issue that your parents could have been shielding you from a whole lot that you never knew existed.
And now, parents of these days are overwhelmed with problems. Even when you want to shield, you don't know where to start shielding, because you just have to complain. Okay? Who is that bedroom? How much longer will you bath and waste that water? A lot of distraction. I'm telling you, things that nobody looked into, and that kind of thing you overlook. Now, you don't overlook anything now. Don't you know that the meter is running? You want to read in the night, and your father will sneak out and say, who put on this light? You are burning the light. That kind of a thing. It's crazy.
Yeah, talking about anti-Tinubu coalition, that's for Vanguard. The headline there is telling us, not alone can decide 2027. That's coming from 2027 presidency. That's coming from Tanko Yakasai. Not alone can't decide 2027 presidency. What do you see from that statement there?
And the League of the Northern Democracy said that it's not true. Or is it? Okay. I think it's the ACF that said it's not true. North has the numbers to decide who wins. That the beautiful bride. Once you get them, then other ones are just a walkover.
So then what is the essence of this permutation that we're still going out, people decamping from PDP and other political parties to join the APC? Isn't that what this is all about?
Well, I thought you were going to talk about the population, whether this population is actually accurate.
Based on their comments saying that North has the numbers to decide.
Number is talking about population.
Yeah,
that's what we're saying. So that's, do they really have that number? Okay, let's call it what they call this. Do they really have the number? That is where we start asking questions. Okay, based on the kind of problems and hiccups we have had in this country or in this side of the world during census. Okay, so you don't want to come out to be counted, and then they now put you in minority. Now somebody that you know that you are even more than. Considering the number of people from this side of the world that is living outside, most times they are even greater than the ones that are living within, to be honest with you. Number of the people from this region that are living outside this region, they are greater. So when you come together to pull your numbers together, do you think any region can, you know, and then if not say that they have the number, why import the Chadians and the Nigerians and the Sudanese and during elections? Okay, where do you import them to? To the north. So that's the number they're talking about. So where will you go and import your own numbers?
Actually,
and if they have the number, the real number, the actual number that you wanted to say, why import all these people that are, these marauders that are ravaging this country now during election? Because you want the number, you want to increase your number. So you don't have the number.
There's always been a solution to this issue of who has what number prior to elections. And what is actually militating against that is that census. I think it's high time this country is due one census. I wouldn't even mind if foreigners will come and even do the census for us, sincerely speaking, because I don't trust.
Even come and do the elections for us.
No, I don't trust the NPC coming out to tell us that this is exactly what it is. It's only in Nigeria where you find the demographic of people living south less than people living in north. What is there in the north? Arid, unfriendly weather. But yet you tell me that you have the population.
That's
and then towards the Atlantic Ocean, you're telling me that people there are fewer. Or even at the middle belt that has the cover, you understand, of the plantation and good rich vegetation. People are scarce there. So I think a census will do us justice so that we begin to. I've lived in the north. I've served in south, I'm from the east, and I schooled in the west. So to a certain extent,
you're in Nigeria.
I'm a full Nigerian.
Full-blooded
Nigerian. So I know the demographic. And I've traveled far and wide in this country. So when they talk about these figures, I keep wondering, where is the traffic in Yobe? Where is the traffic? You understand? Apart from the center, Jalingo and the rest of it all. Other villages. But in the 21 local governments of Anambra State, there is traffic everywhere. Everywhere there is traffic. And then when the elections comes, you'll be telling us that Anambra can only give 900 and something thousand votes.
Even the population they're boasting, apart from the importation they do, the population they're boasting are made up from people from this side.
The question is, the argument is that we don't vote in this part. Rather, we sit down in beer parlors and be eating.
We don't vote. We don't come out for census.
You understand?
We always want to, bring out some problems, during census to say that we don't want to be counted. And now, when they start apportioning, things
the
based on your numbers,
dividends that you will be found wanting, and then taking even to the disadvantage of the land that borders these areas. Already, this is where you have the smallest states, apart from Lagos. After Lagos, Anambra is the least. We're talking about geographical era, you understand? But then we're not talking about that. We're talking about the people living in Anambra State. So I think it's time we did a new census so that let us actually know if this 215 million projection is bloated or if we're actually up to that amount, sincerely speaking. I've heard people come up on different platforms to say that we are not up to this figure. Sincerely speaking.
And some are saying we are more than that.
No, some are saying, with facts, empirical facts, telling you that we are not. How can you be telling me that there are 16 million, 20 million people in Kano? How? Where are they? We are talking about Kano, we're not talking about Kano municipal, the state itself. So where are these people? So these are facts that we actually need to, and I think the census will actually help us out to do this, not just for the elections, but equally, a whole lot of things are tied there. We are suffering multi-dimensional poverty of every strata in this country. Every strata. Because there is no rich man, a rich man in this country is suffering that multi-dimensional poverty too. You understand? Irrespective of the fact, you buy the same fuel that I buy. You might just have higher earnings, but The number of people that you want to lift away from poverty within your community, you can't.
No, you have higher earnings that you spend more.
More. So it touches every person. The lack cuts across board. Insecurity that we are suffering in this part of, in fact, the richer you are, the more difficult it is.
You know, I have this friend that the husband is well to do, and then there was this day I went to the house and said, your pot of soup has changed. All those mede. You know, he said, nah, you won't understand. I said, what is going on? What won't I understand? I know that you guys are boxed up. He said, You don't know what my husband told me last week. What did he say? He said that it's better you start managing, because it's easier for somebody who does not have to just fall. Nobody will notice. But for those of us, they feel that, we can't just fall now. So let us cut costs and begin to live, within. That kind of a thing.
Yeah.
So the rich also cry.
The rich, of course. So multi-dimensional poverty, when they talk about it, 75% of Nigerians live in poverty in rural areas. And I begin to wonder, rural area, everybody here is in poverty. And that 70% to me is laughable. That should be about 90-something%, because every person here is actually having one issue to deal with.
That's what they use when they want to come and carry the things that governments will give them to share everybody. You say you are sharing the palliative to those that are
the vulnerable.
The vulnerable. Who is not vulnerable these days? Okay, who is not? Okay, the Gary, painter of Gary that you used to buy 1,000, you now buy it 3,000. It's eating on your pocket. That means that the next thing you want to do with money will be left undone.
Somebody said, this one is on a lighter note, that
give us everything that you are giving to
This is when we are calling upon the medical society to come up, the pharmaceutical company, to come up with one pill that you will take and you will skip meal for 2 days. A pill that will make you skip meal for 2 days at least.
And so then you start going down. Everything in your body,
maybe the pill will now boost your immunity. I don't know. That's what we probably need, because sincerely speaking, we need a lift. We need a lift.
So let's look at this guy's case. They said he's coming out today. VDM to be released today. Faces multiple charges in court on Thursday. When I was going through his story last night, I think the main thing they accused him of was cyberbullying. Okay, and then I now started asking, how do we differentiate cyberbullying from activism and then freedom of expression? Oh boy, that your hair is white. That is why I am not having what I'm supposed to have. How is it an accusation? Why am I bullying you? Okay, that I know I'm older than you. You are wearing white hair, and then you go and collect the things that you're not supposed to collect. That kind of a thing. Is it a lie?
It's not a lie now.
You said the truth. They say you are bullying them. So you don't want anybody to talk, and yet that's freedom of expression. That you are free to say anything the way it is, as long as you are not telling lies. And when you say that, they will now come and pick you up.
And that's when we need that Cybercrime Freedom Act to actually, let's look into the holes in this thing and then see how we can actually make it easily accessible, and then we won't be shooting ourselves in the foot by trying to be civil, talking about online engagement here. But then at the same time, the question is, if it was for cyberbullying, but the way and manner it was abducted seemed like somebody that, like an espionage kind of extraction.
We're used to that. That was the way they picked Anambra. Somebody was saying, in a forum where I belonged yesterday, said, look at all the security apparatus that was put in place to go and arrest just one man.
One man. Defenseless.
A man that he himself can just go and grab by his side and come, EFCC wants to see you. What did they do to your boy? Come, EFCC, they call you. So can you also muster this kind of security arrangement?
Bravado, show of bravado.
For the Fulani
headsmen and Lakaru and the rest.
For the terrorists that are destroying your nation. So there is need for this collaboration. There's nothing you can do and face these people headlong. Okay? You are doing that for just one man. And you couldn't do that to save a nation. What the hell is going on? Why are we doing the wrong thing at however? Okay.
Well, this one is probably going to be something to worry, because if it happens in Ondo, Ekiti, Osun State, we definitely might have it trickle down to this part, talking about death of skilled labor, lack, shortage, scarcity of skilled labor. You know, there are times you want to do skills, like, okay, I remember not too long ago, a friend of mine needed a goldsmith to fix the wife's jewelry because some ornaments had some, you know. Do you know we worked the entire, we asked, we went to blacksmith, locksmith, and we were asking. They said, there used to be one man somewhere, we'll go to that location. And the man has relocated. So the man didn't train anybody, as in, no apprentice or not. At the end of it all, we now located one guy. They now directed us to one guy inside one village, I think in Nibo, thereabout. We now met the young man, very young. The guy should be in his 40s and everything. We now asked, okay, are you the only one doing this? He said, people will come, and then after a few months, they will just disappear. But he spent 6 years learning this job. 6 years. You need to see some of the tools the guy had. I was fascinated with what I saw in his, shop and stuff like that. And within 15 minutes, we were just outside gisting. Within 15 minutes, he polished the gold. Everything was, and then they disjointed this thing, they untangled, and guess what? The amount my friend paid for that, I was wondering, I said, so this thing is this expensive and nobody is doing it. That's what we're talking about here. That's what Nigerian Tribune is bringing to our knowledge. Scarcity of skilled labor.
Very important, because I also have my own story of a man that fixes fridges in Onitsha. And then you will call him to come and fix your fridge. He will give you 3 weeks notice. No, before it gets to you, to go up to 3 weeks, because I have this job to do at Ehana. I have this one to do at the other one, and this one at Oka. And I said, well, why are you like this? Or where are your boys? He said, they don't come. They don't come. Nobody wants to learn. They want to do Yahoo. Nobody wants to see them. And I said that I went to my village, brought in some boys, sat them down. Instead of them to pay me to learn the job, I am paying them, feeding them, begging them to learn this job. I will soon be out of this place. Who will carry on? I said, where are your children? He said, they're in school. I said, so that's the problem. Even you, your own son cannot learn what you have been doing.
What you use in training. Yeah, what you use.
So that is where nobody wants that. So we need to start from somewhere. But there's another way government is doing it. That's this skill acquisition they're doing. That's where those things come in now. Instead of going to learn it
the crude way
of learning it for years, that you can come and digitize the whole thing. We digitize the whole thing for you. You will learn this, you will learn that. They're all skills. And then you bend down to practice. It's not just learning and taking the seed money and still facing your computers looking for who you are going to.
To swindle.
In that kind of a thing, you bend down and do the job, because that job must still exist. Vulcanizer.
Of course.
We won't stop driving cars.
We will stop, of course.
So the vulcanizer will always be there. The mechanics will always be there.
Will always be there. They will just be, they will be upgrading. You understand?
Yourself, I think they computer and then they web computer and then they say that this one is bad, this one is bad.
Of course.
They will give you the bill. Oh boy, you are in trouble. So learn the job, upgrade your own, and then level up. That's just it.
That's just it, sincerely speaking, because we have a whole lot, and these are things that other nations have already, picked up. Somebody was telling me that, that this rechargeable fan that you're using could be a project for a secondary school, in China or in Taiwan.
Which is true. A whole lot of them, not just the rechargeable fan. A whole lot of them. But here we copy projects. You go to the net and carry somebody's job. Remove the name, put your own,
and then you take it on there. Now, still talking about politics, and then we saw the Atiku is still thinking of fixing last-minute fix PDP. When every person is jumping ship, the young man wants to be there, and still, well, you said he's a Nigerian and he deserves the right to run for presidency for as long as he wants. And some other people have been.
The person that called him a young man now. So
some other people. Some other people are of the opinion that okay, Jesus, you can go and rest now. Go and rest and be a point of rally support, and then the rest of it all. Must you always be out there? I don't understand. Could it be the fact that when these politicians loot us dry, they keep enough in order to, keep nursing their political ambitions. I don't really understand this. For how long?
You call it ambition.
Yeah.
You call it ambition. Most of them, they encourage themselves with the Abraham Lincoln's ambition. He kept doing this and doing that until he eventually got it. So they still have this hope that one day they will get what they want. Perhaps that's why they're doing it. But the thing is that it's because we don't have statesmen again. Okay? You're talking of Atiku. I heard that Jonathan is coming. Okay. We don't have statesmen again. We don't have men that will sit back and encourage the young ones. Well, we did this and failed, so make sure you don't try this. So we're having problem here because
no. IJ, can't somebody in his mood mentor somebody?
That is it. It's statesmen that mentors.
You understand? Can't you mold somebody that can go there? Now you've been in the corridor of power as high as the VP. You understand? So you know how this country works. Do you know that the moment you lost your first presidential bid, ambition, you failed, the second one you failed, that is even the time to just grab somebody, irrespective of where this person is from, and throw your full weight behind this guy, show support. In no time, people will definitely begin to pay attention to what you're doing. And that is what, that is what.
So ambitious to grab power.
I don't.
Okay, look at that president. He said that this is my time. I'm going to bring a new hope and a whole lot of things. And we're running 3 years and we're still looking out for the new hope. Okay. And then you struggle for power, not just in politics. You struggle for power that when you eventually have it, you don't know what to do with it. It happens in the offices, in the families, a whole lot of places, in the villages. I want to be the PG, I want to be and you get this power, you are confused. You don't know what to do because you're not even ambitious because
no plan.
No plan. You apply what you want to do, how you are going to do it before you come out to start struggling for the post. That's the problem we have in this country. I just want to answer the president. That's all. Okay? Don't be surprised every fire is coming out because he said he's going to rule this country.
No problem. Let them all come and then have 144 political parties. Each one of them, the presidential aspirants. Let's round off with this constitutional review. Insecurity tax bills top agenda as NAS resumes today. Constitution reform review. Insecurity tax bills top as NAS resumes today. Let's round up with that.
And they'll just drop everything and face insecurity. That's just me. Because if you review the constitution, if you review the tax, if you do all those things and you are not secure, those things will not work.